And then Lulu is a way, she came over, but suddenly got something on for the family. And then Lee May also is our advisor, doing a lot of work at home as well. So thank you very much for all of you. And then following, I would like to invite our special guest speaker, Jasmine, to give us a speech. Jasmine coming from Metro Assistant. Would you like to give us an introduction what a Metro Assistant does?
Wow.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi everyone, and thank you for having me here today. My name is Jasmine Maguizra, and I am from Metro Assist. My role is settlement team leader, and Metro Assist is a non-profit organization. So we work mainly with newly arrived migrants and refugees. We work as well with cold families and help them just to sustainably settle in Australia and gain control over their lives. Before I start my presentation, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we're meeting today and pay my respect to their elders, past, present, and emerging. And today, I would like also to acknowledge the devastating impact of domestic and family violence on individuals, families, and communities. And I would like to pay my respect to victims and survivors who demonstrate resilience, strength, and courage in healing, moving forward, and rebuilding their lives and the lives of their children. I believe that each country, each nation, each community has their own sayings and songs about love, happy relationships, happy home. But my question is home always a happy place? For so many women, children, and young people, home is not a safe place. Home is synonym of intimidation, fear, synonym of a loss of self-esteem and self-confidence because they're experiencing domestic and family violence. So what is domestic and family violence? According to the Australian Medical Association, domestic and family violence is an abuse of power. It's the domination, coercion, intimidation, victimization of one person by another by physical, sexual, or emotional means within intimate relationships. Domestic and family violence is not a one-off. It's an ongoing pattern of threatening, coercive, and violent behavior. The perpetrator uses usually violence to gain or maintain power and control over an intimate partner. I would like to show you this photo. So what do you guys notice? What is the difference between these two couples?
Equality.
Okay, so one of them is a normal couple fighting. The other couple is the woman is actually experiencing abuse. You can notice that from the body language, the eye contact, and also the distance between them. So the way the woman is standing here and the way the woman is standing here, like a child being disciplined, can tell you the difference. Of course, there are many types of abuse. So I'm not going to go through details because we all know, but abuse can be physical, which is the main form of abuse. It can also be emotional and psychological. It can be sexual, spiritual, digital, and that's a new form, or financial. Now time for a story. I want to tell you a story. Her story of domestic and family violence. Let me introduce you to Ayet. Of course, I'm using a random name. Ayet is 20 years old from Lebanon. She came to Australia on a temporary partner visa 309 after marrying her husband, Lebanese Australian, in Lebanon. So when Ayet was referred to our service, she actually was staying in a crisis accommodation after being discharged from the hospital. She was severely assaulted by her husband in his mid-50s, her mother-in-law, and stepsons. This was not the first time. It was ongoing since her arrival. But that time, they managed to kick her out of the house around 2 a.m. And because Ayet doesn't speak English, doesn't know where to go, doesn't have family, doesn't know any support, she stayed the whole night at the park until one of the neighbors found her in the morning around 7 a.m. and called the police. The husband actually took all her belongings, and yet it was not enough. He canceled the sponsorship. So she found herself with no money, no family, no support. And because he was controlling her inbox, she didn't receive the email from the department asking her to report back the change of circumstances and provide evidence of relationship. So she had only 28 days, or otherwise she'll be deported to Lebanon. The point here, it's not only the story of Ayet. This is the story of Najeen from Bangladesh, Amy from China, Nada from Afghanistan, and hundreds of women refer to our services every day. And I guess this is why we're here today, because we want to change this sad story. We want to change the narrative. My question now, why these women do not report domestic and family violence? Why they do not talk about it? For many reasons. It could be denial. Many of them come to our services in complete denial, finding excuses for their partners. They don't believe what's happening. They don't know what's happening. Maybe the fear of the family, the community. Children custody is a big one. They don't know what's going to happen. They're completely dependent on their partners. Shame and guilt, especially within CALF communities. The financial dependence. Most of the women have never worked before. Visa issues. Lack of support. Lack of understanding of how it works, the system here in Australia. Or lack of knowledge of available services. So most of these women, when they come to our services, they are stuck in what we call the circle of violence. So that's the circle of abuse. Violence is not something that would happen like a one-off. It's always a circle which starts with a build-up. We call it the tension building. So that's where all the yelling, swearing, coercion, anger is happening. It's a build-up. And then, for whatever reason, the explosion happens. And then that's when actually the abuse is happening. It could be physical, emotional, sexual, whatever type of abuse. And after that, unfortunately, they go again into a honeymoon period of apologies, promises, blaming, gifts. And most of the women, when they come to our services, they're stuck here in the honeymoon period in complete denial. They tell you whatever reason, whatever excuses, just to find the excuses for their partners. Any reason for the explosion to happen. It could be maybe she burned dinner. Maybe she talked during the game, looked at someone else, and then the explosion will happen. And that's when they report. The thing is, when the abuse is physical, we can prove it. There's an evidence. We can talk to police. We can get a report. We can get an AVO. When it's emotional, when it's financial, we can't prove it. When it's sexual, it's still a taboo within many communities. They don't talk about it. Let me share some statistics here in Australia. We're talking about Australia. 1 in 4 women in Australia have experienced emotional abuse by a current or previous partner since the age of 15. When we say 1 in 4, probably one. So a person that we know, maybe from a community, from our family, from work, from our environment. It's 1 in 4. 1 in 5 women have experienced sexual violence since the age of 15. 1 in 6 women have experienced physical and or sexual violence by a current or previous partner since the age of 15. The numbers are pretty high, pretty alarming. But if there's one take home today for all of us, it would be, in Australia, 1 woman is killed every week by a current or a former partner. This tells us that we all here today, we need to do something about it. So what do we do at Metro Assist? So we have a specialized domestic and family violence service. And what we do with victims and survivors, we work on 4 channels. The first channel is casework. So casework is one-on-one support. We support them. It starts when they're still stuck in the relationship, they don't understand. Because here we say domestic and family violence, if you get to translate it in different languages, maybe there's no equivalent for it. They don't know. We do case management, we do safety planning. We help them to report to police, we connect them with legal services, and we do advocacy, we advocate for them. And warm referrals for counseling, accommodation, legal services, financial assistance, and other services. So that's one-on-one with the client. The second channel that we work on, we call it primary prevention. And that's where we go to the community, we talk to them, we run educational sessions, we raise the awareness, and we build the capacity of women. So we have women's circles. It's basically community groups that we run during school terms on a weekly basis. For now, we have a Chinese group, Arabic speaking, Bengali, we have Vietnamese, Afghan, and we're starting a Ukrainian group. We have a men's group, and we also do school-based program. We go to schools, mainly IECs, Intensive English Centers, for newly arrived students, and we talk to them about domestic and family violence. We talk about gender roles, gender inequalities in our society. And we talk about healthy relationships. The third channel is early intervention, and this is very important. That's where we work in collaboration and we build partnerships with women's associations, domestic and family violence services, ethnic organizations, police, legal services, and we work as well with community and faith leaders to build their capacity and train them. So we work all in collaboration to tackle domestic and family violence. Post-TV, that's my favorite part. And what we do is basically the aftermath of domestic and family violence. We help these women rebuild their lives. We help them to heal and move forward. And for that, we do workshops and sessions, job readiness, employment support. We have a driving program. We get them to attend road safety sessions, and we give them from 5 to 10 free hours of practice, so they get their driving license. We do conversational English, we do digital literacy, financial literacy, recreational activities. They say a picture speaks 1,000 words, so I'm gonna show you what we do in pictures. So these, some of our community groups, where we get guest speakers to talk to them, we consult with them, we see what they need to know, what they really want, and we invite other organizations to come and talk to them. We also do tours. This one was Canterbury Hospital. We took them to the hospital. We did a program in partnership with the hospital. We got specialists to come and talk to them and explain what services are there for them. We work closely with police and other government and non-government agencies. Workshops. We do a lot of workshops, as I said. Employment, job readiness, healthy relationships. We build their skills. We upskill them so they can find jobs, they can move forward. You can see different groups. We have multicultural groups. It's on a weekly basis. This is our school-based program where we go to school and we talk to adolescents. Because if we want to change the mentalities, we need to challenge young people, we need to talk to them. And believe me, it's not always easy. When I go there and I talk to them, sometimes there's a lot of resistance. And I do some icebreakers. I'm gonna give you an example. So one day I went to the IEC and I said, okay, we're doing a game, very simple. It's called Stand Up If. So I'm gonna just read statements. If you feel like it's you, it's related to you, the answer is yes, just stand up. I said, stand up if you think it's okay to use violence. I'm not talking about self-defense. I'm just talking about proving a point with a friend. All the boys stood up. All of them. Yeah, but yeah, we need to talk. That's our driving program, the road safety sessions, and then we get them to do some practice with accredited instructors. It's not always serious at Metro Assist. We have fun sometimes. That's our Zumba classes for young people and different groups. Excursions. This one was to Granada Beach with women and children, and we had fun. And the thing about, I remember that day, we were not caseworkers and clients, we were just family having fun. We have a financial assistance program, emergency relief, we do financial counseling, we do hampers to help them. That was our Christmas hampers last year. That was the 16 days of activism last year, Born to Shine program. So we had a discussion panel, we had a tribute to the victims of domestic and family violence. We celebrated with flowers and candles. We had the mayor, the MPs come in, and then we had a painting on glass workshop for the women. We celebrate festivals. So that was the International Women's Day this year. And finally, I want to share the Love and Hope Hub. This is an initiative that I'm very proud of that I started this year. And it's kind of like one-stop shop for victims and survivors of domestic and family violence. We started in Lakemba, and what the whole idea is a weekly physical hub where different service providers can come together. So they come to us, and instead of going around and telling their stories again and again, they can come to us and get comprehensive support from different services. It's also a place where they can come and enjoy a morning tea, some friendly conversations, and have a confidential chat. So we started this hub this year in April, and next week, Wednesday, we're having the official opening as part of the 16 days of activism. So some of our partners, we've got the Legal Aid, the Domestic and Family Violence Unit, attending fortnightly, the hub. We've got the Justice Support Center, Southwest Sydney Women's Domestic Violence Court Advocacy Service, Cable, Burwood Women's Domestic Violence Court Advocacy Service. We've got Services Australia, Centrelink, Medicare coming on a weekly basis, providing support. And we've got as well Service New South Wales coming to the hub. Before I close, I just want to say one last thing. I believe that domestic and family violence is everyone's issue. Unless we all work together, communities, government, non-profits, schools, universities, religious and community leaders, civil society, we all need to work hand in hand to stop violence. Thank you everyone for having me.